Hi friends! Good morning! Si Nico po ulit nandito na naman sa programa niya, Nick Talk, The Real Talk with Nico. And of course, today, January 7, January 7, 2025. And once again, I am inviting all my followers, ang mga kaibigan ko, mga congressmen, mga kababayan ko, friends, kababayan, overseas Filipino workers, and wherever you are, kung nasaan man po kayo ngayon, I would like to invite you to my program, itong episode, very, very beautiful Tuesday morning po tayo, January 17, and meron tayong mga issues that we are going to be discussing during the program. Sa overseas Filipino workers dito sa Malaysia, particularly dito po sa Sabah East Malaysia, specifically dito po sa Kota Kinabalu, para sa inyo itong program po that I am doing now. And of course, not only to the overseas Filipino workers here in Malaysia or dito po sa Sabah, this is also intended to all the overseas Filipino workers sa iba-ibang nasyon sa mundo. Wherever you are, this is for all of you po. So on this, you will be updated. You will have an image or a picture of what is happening dito po sa Sabah or sa Malaysia, dyan sa Pilipinas, and some news from other, kita sabihin natin na ibang nasyon. So once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Salamat pagi, salamat patang, and salamat malam to all of us, to all of you, kung nasaan man kayo, Malaysia ba, Pilipinas ba, or sa ibang nasyon. So ito po, si Nico Fabian would also like to greet again, Happy New Year to each and every one of us. And of course, yung mga Chinese friends natin, they are now preparing for the coming or ushering of the Year of the Snake 2025. And that will be later this month. Towards the end of this month, we are going to celebrate. The Chinese community worldwide will be celebrating itong coming of the Year of the Snake 2025. Dito sa Malaysia, dito sa Sabah, dito sa Kota Kinabalu, ang spirit of Chinese New Year nandito na po. After ang Christmas, New Year, tapos Three Kings, and ngayon, we are gearing towards the celebration of Chinese New Year or Kong Si Fa Chai. To my friend, si Stephen Yong, I would like to say good morning to you, and of course, Happy New Year. I don't know if our friend si Stephen Yong, ang chief reporter ng Bunia Post, I don't know if he is still here in Kota Kinabalu or still having a holiday in or abroad, But anyway, if you are still abroad, I would like to say enjoy your holiday, and I'm sure soon you will be back in KK because my friends, this Stephen Yong is one of the Chinese reporters veteran Chinese reporters in Kota Kinabalu or here in Sabah. Very sabi natin, very respectful. And back in KK already, bro. So welcome back to KK, Stephen Yong. As what I said, our friend si Stephen Yong, my colleague, when I was with Bonapos, now very aggressive, responsible, journalist of or here in Kota Kinabalu. So anything that he covers, that's one thing sure, it's not a fake news. One thing sure, it's not fake news. So don't forget, if you want to get some news regarding what's happening in Sabah, in Sabah, don't forget the newspaper, The Borneo Post, Sabah edition. They also have a Borneo Post. They also have a Borneo Post Sarawak edition. And of course, don't forget my paper, Daily Express po, independent newspaper of Sabah. It's an English paper. Mayroon din kaming Chinese version and Malay version. And that goes the same to Borneo Post. In fact, in Sabah, we only have two main newspaper in Sabah. And that is when we talk about English newspaper, that is Borneo Post and the Daily Express. Okay, so get the news from Daily Express and Bonnier Post. Alright? Thank you once again. Welcome to my program, Nick Talk, the Real Talk with Nico. And today we'll be discussing some issues. But before we are going any further, it's always my intention. It's always my intention and my belief that it will always be nice if we start our day or start our program with a prayer. And today's prayer, once again, provided by our friend, si Noel Tingson. He is a Filipino staying legally in Kota Kinabalu, and he is one of the Filipino prayer group leaders at the Kota Kinabalu Sacred Heart Parish Church. So every day, continuously, without fail, he will send me these daily prayers. And today, since it's Tuesday, so I'm going to invite each and every one of you to be with me in doing or praying the Tuesday prayer. Come, let's do it. Almighty Father, thank you for this new day. Thank you also for always standing by my side and for reassuring me that light will always win and prevail over the darkness of unveiled anger, discouragement, fear, and anxiety. Father, today I pray for the strong faith, love, and trust in your presence in my life. Also, I fill my heart with your divine light, power, and mercy, so that I will always see your presence amid my struggles and see the higher purpose for my pains. In addition, bless my heart with hope, so that I will be filled with all times with positive mindset, patient attitude, and perseverance. Persevering. In Jesus' name, amen. So that's it, our Tuesday morning prayer. And thank you very much, Brother Noel Tingson, and of course, your wife, si Anais, Madam Anais, and your children, and all the members of your prayer group, dyan po, there in Kota Kinabalu Sacred Heart Parish Church po. Good morning to all of you. And once again, welcome to my program. Those who are celebrating the birthday today, I would like to say happy birthday to all the birthday celebrants today, January 7, and it's Tuesday. And those who are also celebrating any other occasions, any other celebrations, yes, I would like to wish all of you, birthday celebrants, and those who are celebrating other special occasions, I would, it's my wish that you will have a very pleasant, enjoyable, memorable, and problem-free celebration today. Happy birthday to all of you. And those who are traveling, especially my daughter, my second daughter, she will be coming home to Malaysia after a 3 months duty in America. Now, she is now on her way to Malaysia. So, safe trip to Nikki Fabian, Nikki Fabian, and of course, myself and your mother, si Marilo, as well as your sisters, si Shane and si Saint, and your brother-in-law, si Sweep, and of course, your brother, si Marco Fabian. We are looking forward to be with you either today or tomorrow, or on on the 8th, on the 8th of this week. So welcome home and safe trip to you, Nikki. So shout out din tayo po si Mary Lou Pinto is also watching my program today. I would like to say good morning to you, Mary, and all the best. All the best, and I hope that you will have a very beautiful, wonderful, and peaceful Tuesday. Today, Tuesday morning, nakikita ko po, our weather condition in Kota Kinabalu is very inspiring, very exciting po, because the sunshine is very bright. there is no indication that we are going to experience any downpour. Any downpour. And okay, let's continue with our program. And of course, today we are going to touch on some issues in Sabah, especially issues in Sabah about the Visit Malaysia 2026, which was officially launched by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim yesterday in Putrajaya or in Kuala Lumpur. And of course, another issue that we are going to touch or share with you is don't worry for the Sabahans, for people in Sabah, don't worry because public canning will not be imposed or implemented in Sabah. Public canning will not be implemented in Sabah. That was the assurance given to us by, later on, I'll read you that story. I'll give you that story. And of course, when it comes to the Philippines, because of course, this program is designed for the overseas Filipino workers or Filipino migrants or any Filipinos in Sabah now, so that they will be able to know what is happening in the Philippines, as well as our Malaysian friends, especially Malaysian businessmen who would like to know what is the latest updates in the Philippines for business purposes. Now, I will be giving you some news later on, and we will be touching also on the political issue in the Philippines, particularly this issue po. This issue. Earlier, we are talking about the fourth impeachment cases, complaint to be filed at the lower house or Congress. We were expecting yesterday or maybe today. And of course, we'll be touching about the identity of one of the congressmen in the Philippines and who is now aspiring to be a senator in the coming May 12th midterm election. And I'm referring to Erwin Tulfo. It's a very hot issue now in the Philippines about the identity of this congressman who is a well-known media man also, a very veteran media man, Erwin Tulfo. We will talk about it later on, but in the meantime, let's let me inform you about these developments that we have, regarding the Visit Malaysia 2026. Now, Visit Malaysia 2026 was officially, the campaign of Visit Malaysia 2026 was officially launched by the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim yesterday at Putrajaya. And of course, sustainability and of course, focus on the economy of Malaysia is the objective of the Visit Malaysia 2026. The Visit Malaysia 2026 campaign launched on Monday is centered on two core pillars: high yield and sustainable tourism. According to Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Seri Tiong King Sing during the official launching yesterday po. And he said this reflects Malaysia's commitment to offering meaningful experiences while protecting the country's unique treasures. To achieve this, we have identified three main categories, namely increasing tourist arrivals by converting short visits into extended stay. Alright, that's good. And also extending length of stay by enriching cultural and ecotourism experiences, empowering local communities, and improving infrastructure, as well as encouraging high spending by promoting niche tourism experiences, according to the tourism minister. He was speaking on the launch of the Visit Malaysia Year 2023 campaign officiated by Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim yesterday or Monday. Ganun yun po. And of course, during the official launching of Visit Malaysia campaign or 2026, our tourism minister in Sabah, I am referring to Dato' Christina Liu, was also present po during the program. Sabah will hold the Visit Malaysia Year campaign through roadshows, according to Christina, and festivals. Roadshows and festival will be the strategy of Sabah in luring tourists to visit Sabah. Si Christina Liu, Dato' Christina Liu, is the Tourism, Culture, and Environment Minister in Sabah. She represented Chief Minister Dato' Sri Haji at the official launching of the Visit Malaysia Year campaign, which was launched by the Prime Minister. Christina urged tourism players in Sabah to play heed to the Prime Minister's message that efforts to promote tourism must meet the national aspiration. By national aspiration, the Prime Minister means sustainable tourism and sharing of economic benefits by both urban and rural communities, as well as all stakeholders, including the food and beverage or F&B, service, and other related industries, according to Dato' Christina Liu. And for your information, mga kaibigan ko, especially Filipinos who are in the Philippines or elsewhere and planning to visit Malaysia, particularly Sabah, I am encouraging you to come and visit Sabah because Sabah is promoting ecotourism. If you want to feel you're inside the jungle or forest, or you want to enjoy swimming at the beautiful beaches offered to you by Sabah, then come here po. Sabah is known as mountain high and ocean deep. Why mountain high? Because mountain high, we have this very popular, you can see the majestic view of Mount Kinabalu. And what is Mount Kinabalu? Mount Kinabalu is the tallest mountain in Southeast Asia po. Southeast Asia, and very famous to the world because we also have our yearly mountain climb competition, Mount Kinabalu climbing competition po, and being participated by different mountain climbers from different countries around the world. And now, if you enjoy scuba diving po, scuba diving. Now, we are proud to inform you that Sabah is offering to scuba divers, our place called Sipadan Island. Now, Sipadan Island has been recognized worldwide as one of the top 10 scuba diving in the world. Beautiful place po. I've been there for 2 or 3 times. I dive in Sipadan. And not only in Sipadan po. And Sipadan is located in the district of Sempona. From Kota Kinabalu, if you are going to drive by land to Sempona, it will take something like, let's say, 8-9 hours. And of course, on the way po, you will enjoy the beautiful sceneries. You will be passing Mount Kinabalu, and then you go down to Sandakan and you will see the palm plantation in Sandakan up to Sempona po. Sempona. And yes, shout out tayo kay Noel Flores Tingson. Yes, good morning to you. Thank you very much once again for your prayers, Tuesday prayer that you sent to us this morning. Thank you very much. God bless you. And all the best. And I suppose you're also preparing some preparation for the coming of the Year of the Snake. Chinese New Year. Yeah, normally people in Sabah, be it a Filipino, be it a Chinese, be it an Indian, or any nationality po, no? We celebrate all these big celebrations or auspicious occasions. And the coming auspicious occasion is very near po, and I'm referring to the Chinese New Year celebration 2025. To Noel, Brother Noel, God bless you, and thank you for watching. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. And sabi pa ni Brother Noel, good morning po, Sir Nico. Pa-shout out po sa mga kasamahan ko sa Immaculate Conception Prayer Group. Salamat. Alright, yes. Ang leader ninyo po, si Noel Flores Tingson ng Filipino Prayer Group dyan sa Immaculate Conception Prayer Group. He wishes you good morning, salamat pagi, salamat patang, and salamat malam to all the members. Sabi po ni leader ninyo po, si Noel Flores Tingson. Okay, let's move on ba? No? Let's move on. Itong issue in Sabah. Let's talk about the issue in Sabah, and it has been a little bit controversial. No? But there is now an assurance. Don't worry po. Don't worry. Don't you worry. Because according to the Sabah government, the Sabah government will not implement public canning. Public canning. Science, Technology, and Innovation Minister Dr. Muhammad Arifin, Dr. Muhammad Arif, said that the Sabah government, through its religious authorities, will maintain the existing punishment. Will maintain the existing punishment for takzir offenses. Takzir refers to punishment for offenses for which the form are not specified under Sharia law, he said in a statement yesterday or Monday. Arifin, who is also Sabah Religious and Education Exco, was expressing the stance of the Sabah government with regards to a recent statement by the Sabah State Mufti, Datu Ustad Haji Bongso, alias Aziz bin Haji Jafar, which was reported that he supports public canning punishment. The state government wishes to clarify that the statement made by Datu Ustad Haji Bongso reflects his personal opinion and views and does not in any way represent the stance of the state government, according to Arifin. Yan po. I wish to emphasize that the state government, through its religious authorities, will maintain the existing punishments for takzir offenses. Takzir refers to punishment for offenses for which the forms are not specified under Sharia law. He added that the Sabah government will not implement public canning as recently practiced in the state of Terengganu, given that Sabah is a unique state comprising people of various ethnicities and religion. Religious harmony, tolerance, and mutual understanding are the cornerstones of Sabah's peaceful and harmonious way of life, according to Arifin. He said that the state government will not carry out takzir, punishment involving public canning. So, yon po. That's the latest news regarding the public canning po, no? Statement made by the Mufti in Sabah the other day. So, definitely po, they will not implement the public canning here in Sabah. Not like in the state of Terengganu po. So, nothing to worry po, no? Clear na clear. That's very clear. No? Very clear. So, I hope this issue will now be rested. Will not be rested. So, okay. Let's move on with our program, and of course, this time around, I would like to share with you, no? To share with you. Let's talk about Philippines now. Let's talk about Philippines, Let's talk about Philippines, and this time around, I will first and foremost, ang una po, Unang-una po, I will make sure that you will, sabihin natin, be informed. What is the latest news dyan sa Pilipinas. I will share with you this video recording a news report. Only ang mga headlines dyan sa Pilipinas. Only headlines po. So, this news report has been delivered by, of course, as what I said, by my idol, si Ted Filon, during his program this morning po, this morning. So, it means, if this is aired this morning, it means fresh news ito po. This is fresh news. And let's listen to the fresh news regarding what? Regarding the news in the Philippines. Okay, let's move on. Give me time. Okay, Philippine news po. Alright, I'll give you this Philippine news first. And this, for you to be updated. And listen to this news po. This is for all of you. And here is the latest news in the Philippines.
Ito po ang News 5 sa 105.92 FM.
Hold on. Okay.
News 5 sa 105.92 FM, RPTV 1PH at sa TV5. Ang kalipunan ng mga pinakamalalaki at pinaka-importanting balitang dapat niyong malaman. Ako po si Ted Filon.
Ako naman po si DJ Jackson.
Ganda umaga po kay Ate Nati Ocampo Versos sa kanyang mister. Good morning po. Hindi pa rin po umaalis sa karagatan malapit po sa Zambales ang higanting barko ng China Coast Guard. Una nga pong namataan ng Philippine Coast Guard ang CCG Vessel 5901. Ilang milya po lamang ang layo mula sa Capones Island, Zambales noong pong araw ng Sabado. Agad itong binuntutan ng BRP Cabra ang naturang Coast Guard at niradyo ang para itaboy. Pero sumagot ang mga Chinese at iginit na lehitimo ang ginagawang pagpapatrola nila sa karagatan pong daw na sakop daw ng China. Ayon po sa National Security Council, gusto lang takutin ng monster ship ang mga Pilipinong mangingisda. Pero tinayan ko naman ng NSC at ng Coast Guard na pantay sarado nila ang naturang barko at poprotektahan ang ating mga mangingisdang Pilipino.
Samantalang kinwestiyon naman ng Commission on Audit o COA ang implementasyon ng Health Facilities Enhancement Program ng Department of Health o DOH. Nakapaloob sa HFEB ang mga programa katulad ng pagpapatayo, upgrading at expansion ng mga government facility. Pero base sa 2023 audit report ng COA, atrasado ang ilang proyekto at may ilang programa na hindi na ipatutupad na nagkakahalaga mga kapatid ng 2.8 billion pesos. Kabilang sa nakitang rason ng delay ay ang temporary work suspension at ang atrasadong pag-release sa budget. Nangako naman ng DOH na paiigtingin nila ang monitoring sa mga proyekto para hindi na maulit pa ang delay.
Samantala po naman ang tamang oras ngayon, ganap ng alas 6:37 na magandang Tuesday morning at ang tamang oras na yan, hatid sa inyo ng Boss Max 3 Coffee. Boss Max 3 Coffee, sa amoy pa lang alam mo ng dekalidad ng kanyang coffee beans at puno ng sangkap na galing sa prutas na mangosteen with sandstone. Kaya mainam po sa ating kalusugan at pangangatawan. Today is strong coffee for me. Ate Nati Ocampo. Opo, Versosa, anong inyong kape today, ha? Boss Max 3 Coffee, kaping mangosteen sa Sarap! Available yan sa Mercury Drug, Watson, 7-Eleven, Southstar Drug, at piling supermarkets nationwide. Thank you, Boss Max. Samantala po naman mga kapatid, kumaranggaga na po ang pag-iimprenta ng mga balota para nga sa paparating na 2025 midterm elections. Dalawang malalaking makina galing po ng Amerika ang kinontrata po ng election provider na Miro Systems para daw po iimprenta ang mga balota. Target po ng COMELEC na makapag-imprenta ng halos 1 milyong election ballots kada araw para makumpleto ang 73 milyon na mga balotang kakailanganin po pagsapit ng Abril at 14. Pagmamalaki po ng COMELEC, hindi basta-basta raw po magagaya ang mga balota dahil may naka-embed na security marking sa mga makina para hindi basta-basta tanggapin ng mga makina. Ang balota po hindi naka-assign doon sa mismong presinto. Opo, may balota pero yung pong pagpili ng mga hahawak ng balota ang problema natin.
Samantala mga kapatid, itinanggi naman ng National Security Council o NSC na may hindi pagkakaunawaan pagdating sa sektor ng seguridad ng ating bansa. Ayon po kay Assistant Director General Jonathan Malaya, hindi totoong may political rift o hidwaan dahil sa reorganisasyon sa NSC, kung saan inalis ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr., si Vice President Sara Duterte at mga dating pangulo sa konseho. Taliwas daw ito sa sinabi ng Makabayan Block na lumalaki ang problema sa seguridad ng bansa. Ang giit pa nga ni Malaya, gawa-gawa lamang ito, lalo't papalapit na ang eleksyon.
Nakarating na po sa Pilipinas ang nasa 300 Afghan nationals na ipoproseso ng US Embassy ang kanilang mga US Special Immigrant Visa. Ito bahagi po ng 100-day deal ng Pilipinas at ng Amerika na pinahihintulutan ang mga Afghan na manatili muna sa bansa habang inaayos ang kanilang mga papeles. Nauna pong iginiit ng mga opisyal na hindi sila refugees o banta sa seguridad. Binubuo sila ng mga individual at pamilya na nagtrabaho po para sa Amerika sa ginawang military operations nito mula 2001 hanggang 2021. Dumaan daw po ang Afghan applicants sa mahigpit na security screening. Dapat daw po'y matapos ang pagproseso sa kanilang visa sa US Embassy sa loob lamang ng 59 na araw. Naging issue po ito nitong mga nagdaampong last year. No? Ito desisyon po ng gobyerno. Nakanlungin natin itong mga Afghan national na ito habang pinoproseso nga po yung kanila pong mga visa, immigrant visa po sa Amerika. Anyway, yan po'y naandidiyan na. Ang kwento ho kasi dito mga kapatid, pagkatapos po ng 9/11, ang Estados Unidos nga po, no, sa kagustuhan po na masawata, mapigil at maubos itong mga may gawa noong pong terrorist attack na iyon, nag-deploy po ng libo-libo na mga sundalong Amerikano sa Afghanistan. Ang hinahabol nila doon, yung pong mga bombang ginagawa nitong mga Taliban at yung kanila pong mga kilos po, para po gumawa ng karahasan sa labas din po ng Afghanistan, hindi lang mismo sa Afghanistan. Sila'y kumuha ng kanilang mga interpreters, ng kanila pong mga tao na tumulong sa kanila sa paghahanap sa mga Taliban. Mga 50,000 ho ang aking huling nabasa dyan. Ganong karami itong mga kalalakihan nito mostly na tumulong sa kanilang operasyon. At ang turing sa kanila ng mga kapwa, mga Afghan at mga miyembro nga, kasi ngayon doon ang gobyerno Taliban na sinasabi, mga traitor daw po ito, di ba? Kaya nangangarap ang kanilang buhay. Pero ang deal nila dito, tumulong ka sa amin, bibigyan ka namin ng pera, tutulungan ka namin sa iyong, necessity dito, at ang iyong pamilya, pero pag natapos na ito, ikaw ay bibigyan ng immigrant visa sa Amerika. Yun po yun. Gusto mo makita ang medyo kalintulad na pelikulang ito, ang title ng Covenant, ang title. Sa
Netflix ba yan o sa Prime?
Hindi.
Saan?
Sa Max.
Ay, ayos, wala kami yan. Oo. Max, ano yun? Nakako-candy lang yun, ha? Pero ang sinasabi naman ng ating gobyerno dito po sa issue na ito, walang gastos po dito ang ating pamahalaan. Ang gumagastos po dito ay ang Amerika. At kapag hindi natapos yung pagproseso ng visa in 59 days, ito pong ilan sa kanila, ililipat ng ibang bansa kung saan po muna sila mananatili. Pero dito daw sa atin,
Kasi nga,
59 days lang.
Iba nga po daw, bakit sa dinami-dami po ng bansa at sa Pilipinas?
Isa nga si Senator Amy Marcos sa
Marami
hindi
po
pabor
kasi
dito.
mga bansa din po na actually Saipan, yung mga bansa po na naturing nga ay US territory. Anyway, sige po, ang ating lang dalangin nga dito na nandyan na po yan, ang lahat po ay maitama, maiproseso ng maayos at magkaroon po talaga ng tight security screening. Anyway, yan din po bilang kapwa-tao na
Yun
lang
na
po.
nga.
Okay, sige.
Samantala, eto na mga kapatid, puntahan naman po natin ang mga balita sa lalawigan. Nakapagtala ng 37 lindol sa loob ng isang araw sa patuloy po na pag-aalboruto pa rin ng Bulkang Kanlaon. Nagbuga rin ang bulkan ng higit 3,600 tonelada ng sulfur dioxide o asupre. Aabot naman sa 500 metro ang ibunugan nitong plume o pinaghalong usok at abo. Nilipad dito ng hangin sa timog kanlurang bahagi ng bulkan. Nananatili pa rin sa alert level 3 ang Kanlaon. Hindi pa raw nakikita ng PHIVOLCS na po pwede na itong ibaba sa mga susunod na araw, lalo't patuloy ang aktibidad ng bulkan. Malaki pa rin daw ang posibilidad na pumutok ito.
Samantala po naman, nag-aalburuto rin ngayon ang bulkang Taal. At ayon po sa FIVOLX na kita ho nila ang mataas na aktibidad sa Taal mula pa noong pagpasok ng bagong taon. Nasa 2,700 daw pong tonelada ang ibinubuga nitong sulfur dioxide kada araw. Pinangambahan pong mababarhan ang bunganga ng bulkan na maaaring magresulta sa mahinang pagputok nito sa mga susunod na araw. Nasa alert level 1 pa rin ngayon ang Taal. Bagamat mahina ang tsansa po ng pagputok, dala pa rin po ito ang ilang mga panganib gaya po ng ashfall at mga pagyanig.
Natagpuan naman ang labi ng nawawalang tripulante ng cargo vessel na MV Jerlyn Katniss na lumubog sa Northern Samar noong December 30. Biyernes nga ng anurin at matagpuan ang katawan ng tripulante sa pampang ng barangay Magkaragit. Diyan po yan sa Dibasalang sa Masbate. Kinilalang biktima na si Andres Pulano na siyang nawawalang chief engineer ng barko. Halos maagnas na at nakatali sa kahoy na upuan ng bangkay ng matagpuan ng mga residente. Dinala na nga sa puneraryang labi ng biktima at nakikipag-ugnayan na rin ng Coast Guard sa pamilya at sa kumpanya ng barko.
Isa ang pata.
Alright, that's it. Yan pa ang latest news dyan sa Pilipinas and being reported by Ted Filon and si Shasha, DJ Shasha. Yan mga latest developments po that I managed to record and of course sharing it with you now. Shoutout muna tayo kay Kangkang Felicen, no? So, dyan sa, if I'm not mistaken, is watching dyan po sa Cebu, Cebu City. So, I would like to say, Kong Si Fa Chai, to my classmate, to my friend, and who always watch my program, si Carlito Felicen. So, Kong Si Fa Chai. Happy New Year, no? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you and to your wife and to your relatives dyan po, mga kaibigan ninyo po sa Cebu. To all the people in Cebu, mga Cebuanas. Good morning to all of you. Salamat pagi. We say it salamat pagi. It means good morning. And salamat patang, it means good afternoon. And salamat malam, it means good evening. Good evening. So, all the best to your classmate, no? Si Kangkang, Kangkang o Carlito Felicenzo. Alright, that's the latest updates or news that you just heard. You just heard dyan sa Pilipinas. You heard something about Sabah News and now Philippine News. And of course, ang ano natin, ang sabi natin, ang issue natin regarding sa Pilipinas, the identity of Congressman Erwin Tulfo. It's a very hot issue ngayon dyan sa Pilipinas. Who is Erwin Tulfo? Is he a Filipino or is he an American citizen? Sa akin po, he is a Filipino. He is a Filipino. He is a very respectable veteran media commentator, broadcaster, public, he got a public program dyan sa Pilipinas and also very known and very, being supported by many Filipinos sa programa niya, no? Sa programa niya. And of course, Erwin Tulfo or Congressman Erwin Tulfo, he was appointed, but unfortunately, it wasn't approved by the Committee on Appointment dyan sa Pilipinas. He was the president, si Bongbong Marcos, wanted him to be the secretary of social welfare ba yun? Social welfare. But unfortunately, it wasn't approved. His appointment was not approved because of issues on the citizenship. And ngayon, because he's aspirant for senator, the issue again is here. And let's listen po, no? Background tayo po about Congressman Erwin Tulfo. And first thing first, I'll share with you the footage, no? Ang news first, ang news regarding Erwin Tulfo. Ang news regarding Erwin Tulfo. Nandito po, 2:16. Alright, listen to this. Listen to this news sa mainstream media in Manila. Listen to this. Sandali po.
Kanya ng dokumento para
Alam ngayon sa social media ang umunay pamemeke ng dokumento ng senatorial candidate na si Erwin Tulfo para makakuha umano ng US passport. Hindi pa rin ito masagot ng mamabatas pero pag-amin niya, ilang taon siyang nag-TNT sa Amerika. Nasa frontline na balitang yan si Marian Enriquez.
Nag-TNT po ako. That's true.
Ito ang diretsahang inamin ni House Deputy Majority Leader at AXIS Party List Representative Erwin Tulfo sa kanyang programang Punto Asintado. Kasunod ng kumakalat na alegasyon online tungkol sa umano'y pamimeke niya ng dokumento para makakuha ng US passport noong 1991. Nag-ugat ang issue sa kumalat na liham umano ng US Embassy kay Tulfo noong October 2022 na nagsasaad na peking birth certificate daw ang ginamit niya para makakuha ng US passport. Isa raw Erich Sylvester Tulfo na ipinanganak sa Hawaii ang ginamit niya kahit sa Tacloban Leyte siya ipinanganak noong 1963. Hindi ito direktang sinagot ng mambabatas pero giit ni Tulfo pagiging undocumented OFW lang ang kasalanan niya.
Wala po ako niloko. And I am proud to say na yes, nag-TNT po ako. Gumawa po ako ng diskarte para mabuhay ko po yung mga anak ko.
Hindi na bago ang issue sa US citizenship ni Tulfo. Noong 2022, sinubukan din itong ungkatin ng mga mambabatas sa confirmation hearing sana niya bilang kalihim ng DSWD. Pero hindi rin ito nasagot ni Tulfo at humiling lang ng executive session. Kalaunan, hindi rin siya nakumpirma hanggang sa tuluyang palitan sa pwesto. Bago naman nakilala bilang broadcaster at politiko, 10 taon na malagi sa Amerika si Tulfo. 1986 siya umalis ng bansa at namasukan daw bilang dishwasher, bagger at iba pa.
Hindi ko po ikinahihiya, bayan, na I was once an undocumented alien, that I was once an illegal OFW, pero hindi ko po pinangangalandakan. Wala po akong kaso sa Amerika. Wala po nagkaso sa akin.
Nagbabalita mula sa frontline, Marian Enriquez, News Pod.
Mga kapatid,
Okay, that's it. Yun ang news broadcast dyan sa Pilipinas yesterday evening and today po, no? And ano yun, ang issue ni Erwin Tulfo. Erwin Tulfo is the younger brother of Rafi Tulfo, who is now a senator. And of course, another elder brother ni Erwin is also aspiring to be a senator come May 12th. May 12th, no? May 12 midterm election, and that is no other than another broadcaster, media personality, veteran po, media man, si Ben Tulfo. So tatlo yon sila po. If in the event, the people or the Filipinos will decide to have 3 Tulfos in the Senate, then maganda ba yon or hindi maganda? Alright? 3 brothers, different personalities, and of course, looking at them on their program, they really care for the interest and welfare of the Filipinos and also the entire nation. But whether they will be senator, this Ben Tulfo and Congressman Erwin Tulfo, it all depends on you come May 12th. May 12th. All right, let's hear another footage from the side of Erwin Tulfo. Erwin Tulfo. Para bias tayo po. Let's listen and then let's give a little bit reaction on this thing. Little bit reaction on this thing. Okay, hold on for a while. All right. Saan na yun? Side ni Erwin Tulfo. All right. Nandito po. This issue of citizenship of Congressman Erwin Tulfo is a very hot issue now in the Philippines. Is it because of the election? Or we are really concerned about the people who fraudulently acquire documents, citizenship from other countries? Is it right? Is it wrong? Or what? Let's listen to this po. Let's listen to this. Hold on.
Illegal OFW. bayan na I was once an undocumented alien, na I was once an illegal OFW dahil wala akong papel. Hindi ko po yung kinahihiyan, pero hindi ko po pinangangalandakan. Why? Hindi ko po yung kinahihiyan because yung pinakain ko po sa mga anak ko, hindi ko po ninakaw, hindi ko po in-scam, wala po akong kaso sa Amerika, wala po nagkaso sa akin. Dito, wala rin po akong kaso. Mga kababayan natin, hindi ko rin po niloko. As a matter of fact, tinutulungan ko pa po. And why is that na ngayon? Walang kredibilidad, walang karapatang magsilbi. Why? Isa lang po akong Pilipino. I'm an ordinary guy. Gusto ko lang po makatulong. Gusto lang po namin makatulong. Gusto ko po, kailangan po kapit sa patalim. I have to survive. I have to take care of my two kids and my girlfriend, my wife before. That's why pumunta ako. Kung may pera ho ako, I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have left. Kahit sino po yan, mga OFW na yan, kung may pera ho yan, aalis pa rin hindi. The point is, may dahilan po kaya umaalis yung tao Lahat ho may dahilan Kung mayaman ho yung mga yan, aalis ba yan? Hindi ho sila aalis. Yun ang masama pa Sasabihin, panluloko. Anong panluloko? Yung pinakain ko sa mga anak ko, pinag-aral ko, galing po sa pawis ko. I work hard. I work 12 hours, 16 hours a day for 10 years. And now you tell me na manluloko ako? Na niloloko ko ang taong bayan. Why? Wala po ako niloko. And I am proud to say na yes, nag-TNT po ako. Gumawa po ako ng diskarte para mabuhay ko po yung mga anak ko. Hindi lang po ako. There are millions of Filipinos in the U.S. na they started like that. Ang difference lang po namin, sila nagpaiwan na doon, nagkaroon na po sila ng papel. Ako po wala.
Okay, that's it. Yun ang explanation ni Erwin Tulfo, no? Ni Congressman Erwin Tulfo about the issue. So para sa akin lang po, I'm not against Erwin Tulfo, neither I am favoring Congressman Erwin Tulfo, who is aspiring to be a senator of the Philippines during come May 12 midterm election. Para sa akin lang po, the issue is not that you became a TNT. Nagtago ng tago ka sa Amerika. That is not the issue. The issue is why you fraudulently acquired an American passport or documents. Why po? Yun ang issue. That's the thing that I believe. Ako po, personally lang, I want to know why, anong rason. It is not that, we are talking about him becoming or experience the life of a TNT, tago ng tago sa ibang nasyon. Kagaya din po dito sa Sabah, no? Filipinos, they come here. Parehas din kay Erwin Tulfo. He went abroad because he wants to give better life, survival for his loved ones, mga anak niya po. No? Yes, correct. That is normal. And hindi lang si Erwin Tulfo po, si Congressman Erwin Tulfo. Millions of us po did that, suffered, no? Took the risk, nag-TNT po. But many of us did not, although there are some who did not try to get a document illegally from that particular host country. No? Which he did. He got a Philippine passport. He managed to get illegally American passport by the name of Erich Sylvester. Is it Sylvester? All right. You see? And yeah, you heard the rest of the story. You already heard in various news in the Philippines. So mine is, I want to know why. The reason maybe, yeah, for survival, to avoid being arrested during checkpoints or roadblocks, and you use money. Definitely, you use money to buy the document, American document, American passport. It will not be given to you free. It means when you acquire that or you manage to get that document, it means you cheated the American or U.S. government. And that is an offense. That is an offense. Yes, wala po. No? There is no cases filed against Congressman Erwin Tulfo, correct? No case. And that's what he said. Correct. No case. So he's just lucky there's no case. Who knows, after this, somebody will file a case against him. No? File a case against him. So yan po. It's not that him being, sabihin natin, TNT, experience the life of a TNT. And yeah, a lot of people like him also suffered. He fooled the immigration department in the Philippines when he left the country. He said he's going for a for a tour in United States. You didn't tell the truth, right? When you reach America, then you did something wrong against the law of the land of America. That is where you tried to get your documents, American documents, U.S. documents po, and which you successfully did it. So that's a crime also. But nobody filed a complaint against you, and that's why you don't have a case. So ganun lang po. I'm not supporting Congressman Erwin Tulfo. Neither I'm trying to put him down. Yun lang po. Sa akin lang yan po. I just want to hear that answer. No? Rather than hear from him that he did not violate any laws. Because whether you like it or not, I don't know if you will agree with me. Mga followers ko. I don't know if you will agree with me. Definitely, he violated the law. Not only in the Philippines, but also in United States. Okay. Mayroon pa yun mga haka-haka. I don't know how true. No? He got 4 wives and 10 children. Alright. True or not, I don't know. But anyway, yan po. More details, specific details po. No? Kasi Erwin Tulfo is saying, he's being bashed by vloggers, no? And other individuals for him being a TNT. It's not that being a TNT. It is the act that you did in getting documents, genuine documents in a illegal way. Illegal way. Ganon lang yan po. So, finally, I think we are running short of time. And when we talk about details, some details, specific details po, no, about this issue of Congressman Erwin Tulfo, the date he filed or got his American passport, when he was born, what name he used, and all these things. Meron dito po, I recorded, I will show you, I will share with you this video clip coming from, one of the famous, known blogger, si Maharlika. Now, up to you po. Depende na sa inyo po whether you believe ang mga claims ni Maharlika or not. But that is the issue now. That is the issue now. So, let's listen to this. My final, sabihin natin, final video clip that I'm going to share with you. Ito po, you listen and it's up to you. It's up to you. I'm not putting down Congressman Erwin Tulfo. I look at him. He's a good leader. And when he was temporarily holding the position as Secretary of the Social Welfare Department, he did a good job. He did a good job. He really did a good job. Unfortunately, he got this issue now. And if you look at the political survey, poll survey, released since last year hanggang ngayon po, no? Congressman Erwin Tulfo is top on the list pagdating natin po sa senatorial position. Magic 12, he topped the list. So, is this issue being raised because of politics or what? That I don't know. And it's up to you to decide. Nandito po ang video clip ni vlogger Maharlika. And she is detailing some specific details about the identity of Congressman Erwin Tulfo. Let's listen to this.
Sa mga kababayan,
Hold on.
Sa mga kababayan, may nilabas tayong dokumento dito kahapon sa Boljakan sa Facebook na kung saan may dokumento ito, Embassy of the United States of America. Ito ay dated October 11, 2022. Okay, mamaya discuss natin yan. So ano sinasabi dito sa sulat? Nabasa nyo na ba yun? Paano natin paniniwalaan ang bangag na gobyernong ito? Sabi dito, the Department of State has to revoke U.S. passport number, passport number 566701788 issued to you in the name of Erich Sylvester Tulfo on August 6, 2021, along with any other valid U.S. passport issued to you pursuant to the particular law, which provides that a U.S. passport may be revoked when it has been determined that the passport was obtained illegally, fraudulently, or erroneously. The regulations cited in this letter may be found at So sinulatan sa binawi ang kanyang U.S. passport, mga palangga, na isnisyo sa pangalan niyang Eric Sylvester Tulfo noong August 6, 2021. Binabawi sa kanya kung ano pang mga dokumento niya na pagkasi yung mga U.S. documents niya, pagmamayari yan ng Amerika, ng U.S., mga palangga. So inisyuhan siya ng U.S. passport. At based doon sa investigation, kasi binasa ko na yan kanina, di ba? Based sa pagsaliksik nitong immigration na ito, ay what? Napag-alaman na si Tulfo ay nag-apply, si Erich dito, Erich Sylvester Tulfo, ang ginamit ng pangalan, na nag-apply siya, mga kababayan, ng US passport, at nag-grant siya ng US passport noong 1991, mga kababayan. May 24, 1991, nag-apply siya, di ba? Hindi naman siya, imagine mo, once kasi pinanganak ka sa Amerika, automatic, di ba, is ano ka na, US citizen ka na. May birth certificate ka, tapos later on, pwede mong i-apply ng passport, US passport. Nag-submit uli siya ng renewal. Ito bagong-bago, 2021. Erich Sylvester Tulfo. Yan po ang gamit niya pangalan. 1991 siya nag-apply, then nag-renew, 2001 din, 2021, nag-renew siya uli ng kanyang passport, mga kababayan. Ngayon, mga kababayan, naging successful ang kanyang renewal noong 2021. Imagine ninyo, kaya di ba nang in-appoint siya ni Bangag doon sa DSWD, hindi siya na-confirm? Remember that? Nag-executive session sila kasi Amerikano siya. Di ba pinag-usapan na natin yan? Amerikano siya sa pangalang Sylvester. Erich Sylvester Tulfo. Pero lingid sa ating kaalaman, mga kababayan, sa lahat po na gustong kumuha ng copy, nandun po sa Facebook natin sa Boljakan. So imagine ninyo, 2021, nag-apply pa siya. Ang kapal ng mukha ni Winong Tulfo. Winong yan siya. Actually, parang doon sa MP, nagko-comment yan. Malay ko ba na fraudster pala yung Julol na yan. Pero ang totoo pala ditong kwento, hindi siya ipinanganak sa Hawaii. Ipinanganak siya ng August 10, 1963 sa Tacloban, Leyte. Bakit kamo? Bakit nalaman ng US Embassy o ng US government na si Erwin Tulfo or Erich Sylvester Tulfo ay hindi yung Tulfo natin sa Pilipinas? Fraud yun. Sino kaya si Erich Sylvester Tulfo? So through investigation, yung pangalan niyang Eric Sylvester Tulfo na sinasabing ipinanganak doon sa kanyang passport record, US passport, pinanganak siya
ng December 30, 1965 sa Hawaii nga mga palaga, hindi niya tunay na pagkatao. Through that letter, nabasa niyo sa Bojacan, sinasabi na siya ay si Erwin Teshiba Tulfo na ipinanganak nga noong August 10, 1963 sa Tacloban City. So yung letter na to ay dated October 11, 2022. So ngayon mga kababayan, imagine nyo, yung mga inuupo ni Bangag ay mga fraudster. Diba? Magnanakaw na mga pagkatao, mga kababayan. Kasi nung June 27, 2022, ay sinign voluntarily ni Tulfo doon sa kanyang na siya ay ipinanganak noong August 10, 1963. Hindi siya December 10, 1965. Grabe ang panluloko sa inyo. Nakasulat sa kanyang birth certificate na siya talaga ipinanganak ng August na 10, 1963. Why? Kasi nung ni-revoke ng US, June 27, 2022, ayan o, isinorender niya yung kanyang original US passport na nirenew niya nung taong 2021 kasama yung kanyang social security card. Noong September 14, 2022, mga kababayan, dahil nga siya ay ano na eh, di ba, inappoint na siya ni Bangag, TSWD, di ba, na hindi siya na-confirm. Dahil ni-revoke yung kanyang US passport at isinorender niya sa embahada ng US dyan sa Pilipinas noong June 27, 2022, kinailangan niyang mag-apply ng kanyang visa na, US visa. Kasi pupunta siya ng Amerika. Then September 14 of 2022 ay nag-apply siya ng visa. Ano yung visa na in-applyan niya? G2 visa. Ano yung G2 visa? Ito yung mga pang-politiko, mga politiko, yung may mga diplomatic tsuva sa mga bansa. So nag-apply siya ng G2 visa. So anong nangyari doon? Napatunayan na nagsisinungaling siya kasi doon sa kanyang visa na in-applyan niya na G2 visa application, mga kababayan, isinulat niya na ipinanganak siya noong August 10, 1963 sa Tacloban. So inamin niya doon sa G2 visa application niya. So sa makatuwid, mga kababayan, si Erich Sylvester Tulfo ay isa lamang, katang-isip, kapatid niya ba? I don't know, hindi natin alam. Ilang taon niyang niloko ang Pilipinas at niloko yung sarili niya at niloko niya ang
So, yan po. That's the issue. That's the issue. And for me, I still believe Erwin Tulfo, Congressman Erwin Tulfo is a Filipino. Is a Filipino. He managed to get the genuine American document through illegal ways. But he is a Filipino. So, yan ang issue po. Ni hot na issue dyan sa Pilipinas regarding itong si Congressman Erwin Tulfo. Bakit nag-raise yun issue na naman? Is it because politically motivated? Because based on the poll survey na he's number one or top on the list pagdating sa 12th senatorial election, potential winners for or in the midterm election come May 12, 2025. Yan po. So, it's up to you. Kayo na bahala po. What I'm doing is just sharing you some information regarding the issues, controversial issues, hot issues regarding politics dyan po sa Pilipinas. Yan po sa Pilipinas. And yes, itong channel ko po, I will be very meticulous or sabihin natin alert tayo po pagdating sa campaign period po, no? Dyan sa Pilipinas, because my purpose is I want to make it sure that ang mga voters natin dito, overseas Filipino voters sa Malaysia, particularly in Sabah, those qualified voters, Filipino qualified voters in Malaysia or in Sabah, no? You will be able to scrutinize, make a wise decision when you cast your vote on polling day May 12 po, no? May 12. And I would like to advise ang mga voters, kapwang voters ko dyan sa Pilipinas, if possible, do not miss the chance to listen ang mga advocacies during public forums, during campaign period. Listen to what the candidates has to say, no? Has to say, no? All their promises mo, no? And from there, after listening, you decide whether this particular candidate can fulfill his promises. Kayang-kaya ba yun? Or he's just bluffing and he just want to get that position he's aspiring for. Listen po, listen. Do not just simply say, hindi bali na, popular na yun, boto natin yun sa kanya. No, listen. No? Listen and see ang background ng kandidato. What happened to him before he became a candidate? What is his status in the society? Mayaman na ba siya? Or hindi? Moral values niya? Moral background niya? Academic background niya? And physical appearance niya, no? Whether we can be proud of him, of this particular candidate, to represent us in the council, dyan sa city natin, dyan sa probinsya natin, dyan sa lower house, or dyan sa Senado. The bottom line is, we make the decision. We put them. We give them the post. We give them the post. But this time around, be careful. And I think the Filipino voters has matured already. And it's difficult for aspirants, candidates to fool now itong mga voters, mga Filipino voters. It has been widely spread that there will be a vote buying during the election, especially during the campaign period, because of the financial assistance provided by the government. Ano ba ito? Now, open your eyes and open your ears and observe and then make a decision. Make a very wise decision for the kabutihan ng futuro ng nasyon natin, Pilipinas, at saka for the future of us and the generations and generations to come. So, yun lang po. This is my, sabihin natin, issue ngayon. Ang topic na yun for January 7 episode ko po, no? And it's Tuesday and it's a nice, beautiful day that we are experiencing dito po sa Kota Kinabalu, dito po sa Sabah, East Malaysia. Sana lang po you are also enjoying the same sabihin natin na atmosphere that we are feeling now or experiencing today, today, January 2nd. So with this, I would like to say once again, Happy New Year, and to the Chinese community, prepare tayo po sa ushering of the Year of the Snake. So Nico, once again, would like to say thank you very much for making me a part of your day today. Malaysia, Sabah, the Philippines, God bless us all. I love you and see you tomorrow. Bye.